Okay, good morning. Welcome to episode 5, how to raise your grade in AP Art. It's a beautiful day. You are going to start out the lesson today with grading the portfolio pieces that are around the space, around the MPR. So you're going to grade them based on the AP Art rubric. So like, to what extent did this artist practice, experiment, and revise? And do you see a correlation of visual relationships? And you are going to grade this artist and you are going to give them feedback. Please note that there is no written evidence and there are no slides. So grade the artist as best as you can with the connection between all of the pieces. But can you score for that written evidence band? Can you even give them a score? And how does that impact their AP Art grade total? So no matter what, no matter how much practice and experimentation we see, right? Like, look at all of this, like exploring different textures, different visual balance, limited color palette, clear unity. It's like it's a piece any way you turn it, right? It's like really cool, like crazy modern art, figure painting, right? And we're really trying different things with circular movement, back and forth movement and design, but without the written evidence, like, where is it? So go ahead and rubric grade everything, and that's your warm up. You could pause the video, and then I will take you through the slide deck. So I should see you evaluating. Are you even here on time? Okay, moving on. So let's go ahead. We are presenting our final portfolio today. So it is a rehearsal, and you are going to evaluate and self-monitor the language in your written evidence and the language within your process, ideas, and materials that's on your contact sheet. The final exam link is here. Hopefully there's no confusion. Okay, so AP Art students will evaluate the quality of their spoken presentation, which should be primarily aligned with the written evidence containing art language, concept language, transition language, and evidence connecting to visual relationships across their SI. So we should see all kinds of this language. So the bottom line, if we go ahead, is that like you should be able to, within a document, highlight all these different types of language. So what I want you to do is go into your contact sheet, which was due over the weekend. At the bottom of that document, I want you to paste your written language, your written evidence about your AP Art portfolio. Here's an example of like how long it should be. Here are other examples in your AP packet. And I want you to actually highlight with this key. So with your computer, highlight. Do you have evidence? Are you referring to evidence in the images? Do you have transition language? Do you have art vocabulary? And are you relating everything to your SIQ? So that's kind of like what you're working on. When you are talking, you are only talking today about your written evidence and about your new pieces. The presentation should be under 3 minutes. So remember, the amount of words that you can submit to the AP board on the website are very minimal. So you need to plan and choose your language. You can't just talk off the cuff about your life, and traumas. Like, yes, that is all very relevant to like why we do art. But as far as the objective for today, you are just focusing on being concise and taking us through a progressive journey through your SIQ. AP Art students will make revisions and adjustments. So I'm actually going to, after this presentation right now, and after I upload this video, I'm going to give you each a space where you give each other feedback on your AP Art presentation. So you're going to actually type feedback to each other on this slide deck. If you don't type on the slide deck, the class slide deck for today, I'm not going to give you points. So you type your feedback on the class slide deck, but your final slide deck, your final exam slide deck, which is right here, linked here, that is where everything is in. Something else to think about, your slide should look like this, where I have a slide up at the top where I see your written evidence, right? So if we could find like the longer version of that portfolio, the bigger version, oh, you should have different materials and processes, right? That we've given you, grayscale markers and color pencils. I mean, I think that's obvious. If we give you materials, you should use them. So how have you explored different materials? Okay, I should see a slide like this, like with written evidence, right? Where you respond, you actually write response, you put your question, and you take us on the journey of your SI with all 4 different components of language. Come on in, Vanessa. Okay, I'm just going to finish. I have a few more minutes to finish doing this. You can start to organize the wagon. Vanessa Mayrin is here, everyone. Vanessa Mayrin's getting her A. Okay, so you are going to make revisions of your slides today. Here is just a reminder of like the expectations that you've had since the middle of the semester as far as the calendar. Notice how we've always communicated that part of the SI presentation and the final exams is Animo Voices, right? So here's the bottom line for like this class and for this semester. These are the questions I'm going to ask and put in the roll book. Has the child experimented with a variety of materials, including Prismacolor pencils, the quills, the grayscale markers, paint, sketch kits, charcoal? So have you addressed your SI with a wide variety of materials? Number 1. Number 2, has the child revised their written evidence and ideas, processes, and materials to make full use of those 4 different kinds? Conceptual language connects to your SI. Art language, are you talking about elements and principles? And all of this vocabulary, right, related to the rubric, right? Am I hearing those words in your presentation out loud on Thursday and today, right? So are you using that kind of art language, right? Because I'm seeing like, what did you learn this semester? Are you connecting? Are you talking about your actual art? So for example, like I intentionally use like thick gesso, acrylic medium to explore how a variety of textures impacts visual movement. You can unplug the, we just need the cord that goes from here to there, from the Mac to there. So you can, like that long black cord, you can wind it up, right? So are you talking about your actual pieces, right? And what you did, not like, oh, this about my life, that about my life, which I care about, but not for this presentation. To what extent does the presentation demonstrate revision, experimentation, and discovery? And from October 8th, you're not talking about your October 8th presentation. You're talking about where you went from there. Has the child explored multiple processes, right? Like, have you tried different things? Did you switch up different SIs? Number 4, is the student including selected works along with their 10 SIs? So, like, are you including other pieces in your portfolio, right, that don't align with your SI? So selected works doesn't count as part of your 10 SIs, to clarify, but are we approaching today, like, are we pretending like this is it? This is the final exam? Is Animo Voices, your joy piece, part of this presentation as an SI or a selected work? Okay, we're focusing on the journey since October 8th, number 6. And then do you have screenshots of your contact sheet assignment, which was due over the weekend, right? So like the thing that's haunting us from the pandemic and also just being a teenager is kids aren't doing assignments along the way, right? So the point of the contact sheet is to help you to write your written evidence and for us to take a holistic look at your portfolio and how it relates to your SIQ, right? Notice how you have to have writing for materials, processes, and ideas on each slide, right? So look at the difference. Your idea should link to your written evidence, right? So your idea should be a direct connection to your written evidence, right? Which is at the beginning of your portfolio, right? So written evidence up at the top. Notice how it shows a progression. Talk about the visual relationships. Do you have high quality photos, or are they like, do I see your finger? Is the light uneven, right? We are just submitting online. It is so important. Are you including all of your SI planning pages, right? So remember, the criteria for success for the SI planning page is right here, right? So you need to have these 5 things. You should have mini questions related to your SIQ. Okay. And maybe, right, your portfolio isn't going to have the bottom line this week, but you still present, right? And then you refine over the weekend, because we're always getting better. But don't be afraid, fear or love. So we should see essentially that you have brainstormed and you have reflected and you have honed your idea. So we should see a narrowing of your inquiry as we develop your ideas. Notice how there's a clear connection of visual relationships between all of these SIs, right? Notice how they're using a variety of materials. Okay, more on the bottom language. And include your planning pages on your slides, include your mind map. I would love to see some of you, to be frank, never did your mind map at the beginning of the year, right? And you never did your summer homework, and you kind of like started off on the wrong foot, right? Put your mind map in, be like, okay, I did it now, right? And this is how I've honed my inquiry. Number 10 is this child being original. So I am going to videotape your presentation and your slides, and I'm going to ask myself these 10 questions. So do you have reference photos on your planning pages? If you don't have reference photos and we don't see evidence of synthesis, right, the AP board is going to assume that these designs came from TikTok, Pinterest, Snapchat, and Google, right? So the reality is we need to see like evidence of research, right? And originality, right? Because in this day and age, we think we have ideas. We think that we thought about something on our own, but the fact is we didn't. We just got the idea from the internet, and we thought it was our idea, but it wasn't, because you didn't go through the planning process. You didn't do your mind map. So this is the reality. Originality is required to do well in AP art. So please like use this slide deck to find success. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to throw in some slides for you guys to give each other feedback. And I wish you so much good luck. You can review this video again, right? And then I should see you typing feedback to each other on your laptops today as you hone and you finalize everything. Please help each other out. Take some better photos. Give each other feedback on your written evidence. I want to feel this culture of collaboration. If anything, you have each other, right? So use each other instead of ignoring what we need to do. Love you. Will anyone watch this video? I don't know. If you don't watch the video during class, this is how I'm feeling inside. I don't want to feel this way. They're not even reading written materials. They're not listening to me. It's an independent class. So will you be an independent college student? This is a college level class. We shall see. How do I stop this thing? Stop share. All right, I'm out. I'm going to pay attention to Vanessa now.